nice. Alright, so this is my first official ride on the YZ125. The only miles that it had on it were from when I got it inspected, and they had to take it up and down the road just to make sure everything was good. So I'm taking it to the local outlet mall, and I'm going to park there, and I'm going to tell you guys, you know, just some ins and outs of the bike. From, you know, when I purchased it, what I initially did when I started riding it, it was a trails bike, and then I decided I don't really like that, so I converted it to Supermoto, and it was a bitch, and you guys are gonna hear about it, so stand by. Alright, so here we are. Just parked out back of the local mall. I live in a town called Grove City. We have Grove City Premium Outlets. It's a hot commodity if you're not from Grove City or any of the immediate surrounding counties. Yeah, it's whatever for me. Grew up here. So yeah, this is it. YZ125 1997. I wish it wasn't a 1997. I wish it was like at least a 2005. That would have made everything way easier. So like I said on the ride over here, it was originally built to ride some trails, and I decided wasn't really feeling that, so I decided to convert it to Supermoto. And yeah, so I'll start with the motor. It has a max power RPM 167 cc stroker kit, which is pretty ignorant for, you know, a 125 external shell. You can almost instantly tell that the motor is not, you know, a 125 as soon as it kicks over. You know, awesome motor. It's gonna suck when it comes time to rebuild it, because I pretty much have to ship it back to them, because they don't really, you know, send you the parts so you can do it yourself, because it's a big liability for them, I guess, even though, you know, it's racing and you don't really get any warranties in anything racing related. So whatever, if they want it sent back, I have no problem doing that. So I pretty much did a complete teardown of this when I bought it. I bought it off a kid in Butler. It was blown up. So it had the same motor, but the front of the piston, the rings were just all melted together. It scored the cylinder wall. Just needed a complete top end rebuild. So I worked with, I believe his name was Rich at Max Power RPM. He agreed, just send us the top end if you're confident that the bottom end's good, the rod's still good. I was confident, so I sent it all out to them. It took about, this was 2 Christmases ago, it took about 2 months for them to get it back to me, which, you know, no big deal. I had nothing else to do. I live in Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area, so it was snowing, it was cold. I'm a fair weather rider. It wasn't about to, you know, hound them and, you know, start cracking the whip telling them I want to ride when it's, you know, 10 degrees outside. So got the motor back, put it all together, decided, you know, I just want to go all out. I want to upgrade everything that can be upgraded inside the motor. So I knew the bottom end was, you know, it's good. It was built by them already. Top end, good. I just, you know, I added the Boyson Factory Racing ignition cover. So funny thing about this cover is everything is Hinson except this cover. So Hinson makes everything internally clutch related. They make the outer basket, they make the inner hub, they make, you know, the steel plates, the friction plates, the pressure plate, everything except for a cover. So I decided just to, you know, paint the stock cover like texture black, and then this is just a silver Sharpie marker, and just thought it was a little bit silly I wrote that on there. So yeah, that's the motor. It's got a Dynoport Racing expansion pipe on it right now. I guess this is, you know, a custom shape to kind of take advantage of the higher displacement of the motor. So I don't know. I've only ever ridden the bike with this pipe on it. So I can't really compare, you know, like a stock or like an FMF fatty or something like that, to give you, you know, a good review of how it feels compared to this one that's made to let this motor shine. Okay, so what next? Suspension, I guess. So suspension is done by a somewhat local company, Pro Action. I'm sure all you guys have heard of them. They're only about 30 minutes away from me. So I just took the front forks off, took the rear shock off, just drove down to them. I said, here's what I plan on doing with the bike. Yeah, go all out. Put your 3-way, you know, valve system in it. It's going to be, you know, street ridden primarily, some, you know, off-road, but street ridden primarily. Set up for 180-pound rider with gear. So I'm probably close to that right now. Probably a little bit under that, but it still feels good. So I'm happy with it. So that's suspension. Obviously, you know, the Warp 9 Elite tubeless rims. I had them do white with blue anodized nipples and blue anodized hubs. And then whatever, I think they only offer the, what is it? The Michelin Pilot front and rear tires if you have them mount them for you, which I did. I'll run these for a while. When they wear out or when I'm not happy with them, I'll put something else on. So that's the tires. Braking system. So this was a bitch, and this is one of the reasons why I wish the bike was like an 05 at least, because all this stuff would have been made off the shelf, and it would have made life a whole lot easier for me. It would have saved me probably about $1,000 in, you know, custom fabrication, custom machine work. So yeah, so this is just the Wave or the Flame series, I think, MotoMaster rotor, with their, I believe they only offer one front caliper, and they're pretty much their whole top of the line front setup, from caliper to rotor to steel braided line, all the way up to their master cylinder, and then underneath you might be able to see, yeah, little micro switch right here. So that runs and activates the brake lights to make everything street legal and keep the cops happy if they happen to get behind me or anything like that, which I'm sure I'll get pulled over anyways, just because these are kind of uncommon around here. But yeah, that's the front braking setup. And nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody. I even had Jeff at like Toxic Moto. He was, researching this for me as well. Nobody makes a front caliper adapter bracket for a bike this old. So this is completely designed and machined by myself. And it works flawlessly thus far with the whole 5 miles that are on the bike. Hopefully it stays that way, fingers crossed. But yeah, titanium bolts here, 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 and then the pinch bolts for the axle. Those are titanium as well. Titanium's really expensive. Each one of these bolts was around, like, I want to say 20 bucks. So I didn't really have to have them, but I kind of wanted to, have everything safety wired, just in case I decide to, enter some events, get into like some racing leagues with the bike, which is still something I'm pondering, but I'm just not sure yet. But everything's safety wired. It's safety wired correctly too, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here when I say this, but I see a bunch of people, and I mean a bunch of people, like 99% of the people that post pictures of their bikes and it's safety wired, it's not done correctly. They literally just run wire through. They don't bother, wrapping it around how it needs to be, so that if this one starts loosening, it forces this one tighter, which prevents this one from loosening. If you really take a look at this, you can see, if I turned to this one, tried to loosen it, it would tighten this one, which would prevent me from loosening this one. So it's a force working against one another if wired correctly, and people just don't do it. Given a wire twisted, straight through this pre-drilled hole, that pre-drilled hole, just straight through, it's gonna prevent them from coming off. It's just not how you're supposed to do it. So yeah, the front sliders and the rear sliders, these are the, I don't know what the company is, but Jeff from Toxic Moto was able to hook me up with these, and they're a custom length because, like I said, no one makes anything for a bike this old. So yeah. What else? The plastics are all Polysport. The tank is a Clark manufacturing tank. When I ordered this tank, it took about 6 months to get it. So yeah, and the fitment's kind of like really shitty. There's a lot of time in drummeling down like casting marks and seams from behind the tank decal. It was bad. I'm not dogging Clark or anything like that. It's communicated on their website that there may be casting flaws, but I just didn't expect it to be as extensive as it was when I received it. And even like mounting, the radiator guards, none of these bolt holes line up really. So there was a lot of convincing that had to be done with a Dremel and with a soldering iron, just to like kind of melt the plastic and convince it to line up correctly. So like I said, bike's a 97. It's made to look like a 92, I believe. I believe this is kind of how they looked when they were released in 92. Just the pink and white theme. Obviously the frame was white as well. When I redid the frame, when I painted this myself, I did not have the intention yet of doing this conversion. It wasn't even a twinkle in my mind on making it look like one of the older YZs. So I just kept the frame blue, and that's what we have here. So yeah, I mean the lighting kit, I guess we'll move on to that. The lighting kit is Tusk. It's just a Tusk main harness, Tusk, you know, rear turn signals, rear fender. The front turn signals are not Tusk though. I forget what company they are. I can check for you guys, let you know if you really want to. Comment, message me, whatever. I'll let you know. But yeah, everything is Tusk. It's just I modified the wiring harness some to make it work how I want to. You know, I tapped into it to make indicator lights work with the Vapor Trail Tech dash kit, because in Pennsylvania nobody really bothers you per se for this that I've heard of, but I just don't want to get pulled over and have, you know, some you know, cop that's having a bad day, or cop that just wants to, you know, be a dick. He got made fun of in high school or some shit like that. Now he's taking down an entire world. Just write me up for something, you know, as minuscule as not having like indicator lights. So I added them. They're there. Whatever. This is Tusk. Oh, so I guess fuel level indicator. This is LSK Motorcycle Electronics, and I think they're over in the Netherlands. These have been out of stock forever, and I checked their website one day and it said they had 2 in stock, so I placed the order. They shipped at DHL. About a week and a half later I had it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty slick. It is this sensor right here, and it just hydrostatically monitors. So you tee into your main feed line, if you can see it back there. Just tee into your main feed line, run a tube up to the sensor, wire the sensor into your electrical system, obviously, and it reads your hydrostatic pressure, and it outputs the signal to the little gauge up here. And I don't know if it's working correctly yet. I calibrated it, you know, at the low level, and then I calibrated it again when I filled the tank up. So I'll see if, you know, it goes down as the tank goes down, and see how accurate it is, and whether or not it leaves me stranded on the side of the road somewhere, and go from there. So the clutch is hydraulic. It is Magura, and it's an ASV lever that's just built for the Magura. I forget the model, but yeah, it's built to fit on the Magura aftermarket hydraulic clutch setup. This is the rear brake lever. I don't really plan on stunting the bike all that much, because, you know, I don't want my girlfriend to have a heart attack or anything. I also just, you know, don't want to be laid up and like out of work and stuff like that. But if I decide to, you know, get a little freaky, start stunting it, that's there. And that is an aux brake. So being a 97, they don't make any, you know, rear adapter kit or anything that enables me to add another caliper right here. So this is what I had to go with, and in order to make this work, I had to this is a rear master cylinder from a 2020. Found it on eBay for like 79 bucks shipped. It has the integrated reservoir. So once again, given it's a 97, aux brake didn't make anything that old, but it's a direct upgrade. I didn't have to modify anything other than straightening this works connection cover out flat here, because it kind of like wrapped around the stock original master cylinder back here. So straightened that out, bolted all this up, filled it, bled it, and then installed the aux brake. And it's just a cable that, you know, runs down through this this top plate that they give you, that you just bolt right on top of the stock top plate. So you just double stack the plates more or less, and they give you longer bolts with the little lock washers here. And then you just run the cable into this bracket, which just cradles everything down here, and the pin goes through. And then when you pull the lever, it works it for you. Pretty slick. I tested it out. It seems to work, you know, just fine. I'll have to play around with, you know, the sensitivity and everything. There's a little knob on here you can adjust, you know, how hard it is to pull, and like when it starts to, you know, actually engage. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It was a Vermont hack conversion. So I registered the bike in Vermont. Vermont doesn't title anything under, I believe it's 500 cc's and or older than 15 years. So this being it's a 97 and on paper it's 125 cc's, I was good to go. So filled out their registration form, paid their taxes, paid their registration fee. Ended up being like, I want to say like $108. And then a month later I get a plate from them, I get my registration paper from Vermont, put the bike on my insurance, and then I waited a couple more weeks and I went to a Pennsylvania like online registration place, AAA, and at first, you know, you tell them I need to transfer this motorcycle from Vermont into Pennsylvania and get a title and yeah, get that all squared away and get Pennsylvania plates instead of Vermont. And they say, okay, well, we need your title as well. And that's when you say, you know, well, Vermont does things differently. They don't title bikes older than 15 years or under 500 cc's. And guaranteed they'll be like, nah, I've never heard of that. And you kind of gotta, you know, just be nice and just tell them, you know, not a lot of people have heard about it, but you've done it before and it is a valid law, and just ask that they look it up. Last time I did this, which was about a month ago for this bike, they brought out this big, you know, thick, like it was literally like this thick, just a book of all the different states' current registration and vehicle laws. And she looked it up, and sure enough, it was right there. So she did the paperwork for me, gave me my license plate, and I would say it took about a month, well, yeah, about a month to get my Pennsylvania title. And the Pennsylvania title has the VIN number that's on the steering neck here, and it says, you know, 97 YZ125, title code MC. So it can literally be purchased by, you know, a future owner, and it just stays a street legal motorcycle as long as you have, you know, the lighting system on it, everything else required to be legal in your state. You get pulled over, as long as it's on insurance, everything's valid, you know, you're gonna be smooth sailing. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's some spooge coming out of the back, but that's name of the game with a two-stroke. You just gotta deal with it. Trust me, my metering rod is set up correctly. The plug is perfect. I've already got all that squared away. Just name of the game with two strokes. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to know anything else. I can do another in-depth video where I can, you know, take the seat cover off, I can take the side panels off, I can show you the battery, I can show you how the stator is wired to have a separate charging circuit for the lighting system and everything else that's hooked up to the bike that runs on the electrical system separate from the ignition system. So the ignition system has its own ground, its own positive circuit, the lighting circuit, which is another separate couple coils on the stator in here, completely separate grounding system, completely separate positive system, and that runs into a rectifier regulator, which converts it into DC and caps it at about 13.5 volts. And it also charges a little Tusk battery pack that's in here, and it works great. So it's a tedious conversion. It's a lot of wiring. It's even more wiring if you want to modify it to work the way that I did. So like, I didn't want like an on-off switch for the lights. I just want them to be on as soon as the bike is started. So the rectifier regulator that I'm using, it detects when there's voltage being sent from the stator, and it has an internal relay that starts sending power to everything that's hooked up to it once it detects that the bike is started in outputting voltage. So it's pretty slick. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. So if you guys want to know more, just let me know. Shoot me a message or comment. And if these videos, you know, have enough interest, I'll keep making them. One more thing I forgot to mention is the cute little catch can. I got this from Great Lakes Supermoto, and it did not come with any nipples drilled or tapped, so it just came with the threaded top plate here. So all of these I did myself, and to explain this, 3 of these lines, there's 4 lines total here. I know the braid kind of makes it hard to tell how many lines there are. Thanks to my girlfriend for braiding this for me. It looks pretty cool, because I just had them twisted and then like zip tied up to this, and it looked all right, but it wasn't, you know, as slick and pretty as this. But 3 of these lines are for carb vents. One of them is for the gearbox vent, and it's the same size, so I just like converted it from, it was like a blue line. It's a little bit bigger than the 1/8 inch, so I ordered a nipple, like a reducing nipple. You can kind of see it like right down in there underneath that black bar. I think it's like 3/16 to an 1/8 inch reducing nipple. So yeah, all those just run to here, and then power valve vent comes right out of the front of the jug here down into another nipple. This is a 1/4 inch nipple, I believe, or it might be 3/8. No, it's 3/8. Final answer. Yeah, final answer. And then that vents down into the catch can, and then you have your free air vent, which is this tube here. This tube just runs up around the radiators, it kind of goes down, and then it just, you can't really see it, but it's chilling right here. Just a free air vent. Obviously you need that because you can't, you know, you can't really vent anything into a closed system. It would just pressurize it after a while, and nothing would run right. Your bike would probably eventually stall or not run at all, or blow up, and we don't really want that because these are expensive, as we all know, and yeah, that would just ruin everybody's day. So that's it. Let me know if you guys have any other questions.